Hey guys, come join the Cultural Festival Dia de los Muertos, hosted by Andrea Kosar and myself, darling. That's right. Saturday, October 29th from 4 to 11 p.m. There's going to be a super lit parade, live music, art, food truck, kid activities, and so much more. You guys can register for this event as a participant or vendor by messaging Dia de los Muertos Waco on Facebook or Instagram. See you guys there. Hey everyone, you're listening to The Public Affair with me, Andrew G. I see someone different every episode, but do me a favor, keep it between us. Hey guys, what's going on? It's me, Andrew G, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Public Affair. Before we continue, I definitely want to use this opportunity, of course, to thank you all so much for all the love and support that you guys continue to show me and the show. You guys are lit. I love you guys so much. Of course, to Rogue Media Network with Mike and Allison, always doing the most for my show and putting up with my diva-ish ways, allegedly. And of course, big shout out to Mr. Corey Dickman. Our episode's out now. He has a show called One Star Rewind. If you haven't seen it, I saw it on this side of the couch and I was being super slutty. Go watch it right now, okay? Look up One Star Rewind, Andrew G, episode 38, I believe it was called, right? Yes, okay. Now, before we continue, I definitely want to use this opportunity to give a shout out to just a few of our sponsors of this episode of The Public Affair. This episode is brought to us by my boy Joe Olvera for Brothers Construction. He provides custom home designs and renovations. He also focuses on roofing, remodeling, plumbing, tree removal, electrical work, and so much more, darling. Joe and his entire team of delicious, scrumptious men are going to build affordable dream homes for you, and they said that I can watch them build the shower when they're building my shower in my new house. And I said, fine, don't worry about what I'm doing when I'm watching them, all right? Call the number on your screen for your consultations. And my boy Joe, who's been a long-time supporter, thank you so much for everything you do for me, bro. I truly appreciate you. Of course, to Frank Biza with B&J Refinishing. He focuses on resurfacing bathtubs, counters, sinks, tiles, and more to original showroom quality. He offers 5-year warranty on most work and has the best prices in town. Y'all know you're not messing with no Frank, because he also does inflatables, mechanical bulls, margarita machines, tables, chairs, a foam machine, so much more, darling. Frank is over there doing it. You can't tell Frank nothing. You ask him to do something, he just does it. He's a true hustler at heart. I love me some Frank Biza. Thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Ooh, of course, to my boy David Santabanez with Linear Real Estate. Now, David is the #1 sales agent in his office, darling. He'll help you buy a home or sell your property. Make sure you follow him on Facebook at David with Linear or call the number on the screen, darling, for all your real estate needs. My boy David is going to put me in my dream chateau one day that Joe's going to build the shower in, and I dream about it every night. It's going to be so great. I love it. David's definitely the guy to work with for your next home purchase. Make sure you guys hit him up today. Thank you for being a longtime sponsor. Oh my goodness. Of course, the Pee-wee's Crab Cakes of Texas with my girl Nika Armstrong. Oh, serving the most authentic Cajun cuisine with a wide selection of signature crab cakes, pasta, seafood, and more. I just rolled around in the Krabby seafood pasta over the weekend at my house. She's on DoorDash now. She gets it delivered to you. Oh, it was delicious. The top recommended, though, is the Southern Fried Catfish Special served with seafood pasta, potato salad, and 6 fried shrimp. Now, the fish is topped with Houdat sauce. I'm not going to tell you what it is. You got to head over to 108 Jim Drive in Hewitt or order online at Order Pee-wee's Crab Cakes on thego.com. To my girl Nika Armstrong, thank you so much for being a longtime sponsor, girl, of The Public Affair. I truly appreciate you, queen. And of course, to Waco Fencing and stuff with my boy Juan Morales. Juan builds privacy fences and chain link fences, perfect for all that extra at-home privacy. He also does demolitions, build wood decks, stone patios, and gorgeous flower beds, darling. You can contact him with the number on the screen for your consultation. My boy Juan Morales is out there, making your property look all cute with a nice little fence, right? In case you want to walk around with nothing on. That's what I'm trying to do. Privacy fences, darling. Thank you to my boy Juan Morales for being a longtime sponsor of The Public Affair, bro. I truly, truly appreciate you.
I was damn good, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. Clearly, I am sitting with the pro.
Oh, stop it, Pete.
And second of all, I'm like, I need to get some sponsors going. I mean, this guy, my podcast is usually over by now.
Shit. No, we're not even started. Right? Yeah. Well, as you guys can see, I am amongst a media personality legend, and you guys know that. I've had the Ann Harters on the show. I've had the Chrissies on the show, the Guthis. I've had so many notable people that I love.
It's a star-studded cast.
Yes. But for somebody like this next guest that I have on the show, it really means a lot to me that he even took the time out of his busy schedule. Being a veteran in what he does, I definitely look up to people like him. I'm so grateful that he's here. He came to talk to us about his career, his battle with addiction, and more. I'm so happy to welcome and be in the presence of Mr. Pete Sousa. He's a news anchor at KWTX Channel 10, sports commentator as well, and the host of his own podcast called The Payoff with Pete.
Yes,
how you doing?
Dude, thank you so much. First of all, I'm honored to be here.
Oh, no.
I really am.
Thank you. I
see what you do.
Yeah.
I've listened to your stuff, and you mentioned you get great guests in here. Clearly, you're doing a lot right.
Oof, that means a lot. Thank you.
Honestly, people talk about this business, and it's hard. It's hard to make money. It's hard to make progress, and you're showing that you can do it.
Yeah, God, Pete, that really means a lot coming from somebody like you. Honestly, it does. I'm not just bullshitting you. Like, I mean, for real.
Well,
Like, you know, it's just, I think with me, you know, there's always work to be done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's no time for it to be off or nothing like that. So I'm just really obsessed with this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm really grateful that
It's
people
contagious.
like you, yes.
Being around.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank
no,
you.
it is, yeah.
That's what Ziad Halabi told me when I first
Yeah.
started the show. He used to sponsor my show with Cedar Sphere, and he was a guest on the show. And
Yeah.
he just said I was contagious. Now I don't have anything that is contagious. Don't get it twisted. I'm clean as a whistle down here. All right, lickety split. No, but honestly, it really means a lot to me. Like, you know, you've definitely been in the media for a long time. You know, and so to be in the presence of somebody like you, to take the time to come on my show, it really means a lot. And so I appreciate it.
Thank you, Brad.
And your kind words, darling. Now, if you guys can't see, Pete's about 7 feet tall. The gays stay out of his DMs. He don't go that way. Don't go sliding his DMs. You know, I post my guests. Okay,
Yeah.
and then straight all the gays in their DMs all the time. Like, man, I got all these gay niggas in my DMs. Okay. Okay.
No, I don't complain.
No, that's it? Yeah.
Any attention I can get is great. You know? I mean, I'm heterosexual, but
Yeah.
I mean, if as a guy,
Yeah.
we're all like insecure, whatever. So if any guy that's straight that gets hit on by a gay dude,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's a huge
Is
compliment.
it a compliment? I was going to
It is
ask
a
you.
huge
Yes. I've had
compliment.
gay people be mad at me for complimenting straight people. And I'm
No.
like, why? They like it.
I know, I love it. Yeah,
Some of them extra like
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I got a huge
that's
void,
their
yeah.
thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, Pete, you know, a lot of my guests or a lot of my audience probably is like, well, who is Pete Sousa?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
what is going on with him? Can you introduce yourself to us? Tell us a little
for
bit about
sure.
who you are and all that, please.
You know, the reason I would say that I'm sitting here is because you came on my radar just like I came on yours,
Yes.
working here at Rogue Media and having podcasts. And my podcast is about sobriety.
Okay.
I'm God willing, they say, I'll be 11 years sober in November.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so my whole life and my whole career, everything I have now, which is not all, you know, publicly out there sobriety. I
Okay,
mean, you
gotcha.
talked about the stuff that I do, but the reason for all the things that I'm able to do today is
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sober. Because I was a hardcore addict. You and I have
Really?
talked about
Yes.
it like for a sliver of time.
Very
but
briefly, yes.
I was, you know, I steal your stuff and help you look for it.
Oh,
type
wow, really?
addict.
It was like
Yeah.
that bad?
Yeah.
Was it drugs or was it drinking or was it both?
It was drinking and drugs.
Okay.
And I'm an alcoholic.
Wow.
Just a drunk. You know, it was in my dad's side of the family.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a while till I really hit like whatever, you know, my bottom. And
Right.
so out of that came a career of, you know, I've been in broadcasting. I'm doing sports broadcasting, which I love. I do the morning news. And you know, my platform has gotten big enough, and it's by no means huge, but it's big enough where I felt like, okay, it's time for me to take on I have a responsibility.
Yeah, for
to
sure.
put out it was so freely given to me. I mean, when I was, Andrew, even before I got sober, there was people always trying to help me.
For sure.
There were so many hands out, you know, when I was out there they were hands of hope. So I figured, you know, it's my turn to give it away. And honestly, it feels good to give it away.
No, I'm sure. Definitely.
To talk about it and just you want to smash the stigma around addiction, and you want to let people know that there's always hope.
Yeah, no, well, that's very well said. I agree. You know, I've said on this show that I've been around somebody that that struggled with addiction.
Yeah.
We're no longer friends, but you know, it's a hard thing to watch somebody go through. You know, in my community, I will say, like, you know, like, as a Latino, it's like we don't talk about alcoholism and stuff like that. You know what I mean? There's always the uncle that he just drinks a lot. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's just it. Nobody acknowledges it as, oh, that's an alcoholic. They need help.
That was what it was like in my family.
Yeah.
Until both my brothers are sober now too.
So you guys all.
Yeah, I tell people it's the last club we wanted to be a part of. Right?
Oh my God, yeah.
But we had it in our family to the point where people were ended up in jail, and people were dying of you know, drug addiction. And my brother Kevin was the first guy to try to get help, and it took him a while. My brother Michael kind of snapped off that branch of the family tree. He got sober probably in like 2005. So I always knew there was a place to go and a different way of life. But yeah, when I grew up, man, if you could keep a job, you could do whatever you wanted. You know what I mean? You could get drunk, or you could, you know, like, as long as a person was employed.
Yes.
That was like, okay, they're not a bum alcoholic. You
Okay,
know what I mean?
gotcha.
Like,
Is that a generational thing? You would just say in your generation that
I
was?
would say it started to break. Like, that was my dad's generation.
Yeah.
And then when I mean, my dad didn't do drugs. He was he was a very functional alcoholic. You know, I love the guy. He's passed away, but he was a hero of mine.
For sure.
But he had his flaws, dude.
Absolutely.
And he never, as far as I know, he never did drugs, right? Like once my brothers and I got introduced to like speed and cocaine.
Yeah.
Like there was a very short shelf life for our addiction because of the way that I know that I responded to it. The first time I did a line, I wanted to do it every day for the rest of my life.
Really?
Oh,
is it like that? Like, I've never smoked or done drugs or anything like that. So, you know, the person that I was friends with was addicted to cocaine as well. And they said it was so hard to get out of it. You know what I mean?
It was, you think it is this gift to you. And when you start to do it, I thought, man, like, where has this been? It fills out all the gaps in my life.
Wow,
it
really?
fills them all. And then before you know it, if you're an addict like me, it just turns on you.
Pete, I don't know, because I heard that cocaine's pretty expensive. Like, I don't be having $175. That was my light bill. You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? You know, like, cocaine's expensive, isn't it? It is.
Yeah, you start to, and what happened is, I had like a little bit of disposable income when I really started to do it. So you would spend a couple $100 on drugs, and
can you imagine that?
Honestly,
like,
I can't anymore. The person I am today is so far removed from that guy.
Okay.
I mean, I still can. I'm like a chemist with money, right? I can still blow it up like in a second, but I run through it regardless. But I mean, back when I was using, I would just, you know, I would spend money like it was, anything I had was going towards.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, wow, that's really crazy. Goodness. Wow. Yeah, you know, it's just the way he caught me. Fuck, I'm sorry. That's never happened before. I blanked out. Here we go. Wow. All right.
It's a real live broadcast moment. By the way, the fact that you do, I got to give you credit. You do live reads.
Yeah.
Like most people.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah.
Like, I'm like, why is he doing these? This actually takes talent and it's hard. I'm like, I would just record. I record all my stuff afterwards.
Oh no, that's 7 years in radio. You know, I used to love doing live reads. That was my thing.
Yeah,
well, I like it nice and fresh.
They
you
pay
know
the
what
big bucks. They pay the most.
You know what? We have a really good relationship, my sponsors and I. No, we do. You know, there's a good understanding, and I'm just here to help them like they're helping me. Yeah. You know. I will say, Pete. You know, when I first met you, I kind of felt bad, but you know, I appreciate you not judging me, because we did have we had this mixer for Rogue Media Network where all of us were all together in that little basement or whatever, and I was all wine breath in his face. You know, they had red wine. They trapped me. They trapped me because I love me some red wine. You know what I mean?
Oh, I get that.
Yes. And so when we were talking, and he was telling me about his addiction and how bad we wanted to meet each other, it was just wine breath. Do things like that, being in environments like that, does that ever trigger you?
No. Well, here's the deal. It did. You know, when I got sober, I finally came to a point where if I was going to really do it, I went to rehab. I went to a treatment facility, and then I went to an extended care, but basically a halfway house.
Oh, okay.
And after that, I lived in Jersey City, New Jersey, and I worked in a kitchen. This dude, worth mentioning, this gay dude, Stephen Smith, who I met in rehab.
Shout out to
Stephen. And he was big in the gay community in New York City.
Oh, okay.
He just had all his friends were gay dudes, his husband, Boris, and we would always hang out with them, and they were just super cool.
Yeah, definitely.
And so Stephen was just such a giving guy. When we got I got out of this extended care place, he was like, you and another guy, Tim, who's like my brother to this day, still sober.
For sure.
You and Tim can come work for me at this place called Table Tales. So I lived with Tim in Jersey City and worked in New York City for about a year. So we're talking like 18 months of, you know, rehab, halfway house, living with Tim, working at Table Tales, where I was almost like institutionalized in a sense, where I wasn't ready to be around alcohol and drugs at that phase in the game.
Okay.
Now, dude, there's no place I can't go.
It's just everywhere.
It's
everywhere. It's in media. It's in everything.
It's in everything.
It's in everything.
And if you have dating, you know, I mean, if you're going on a date with a woman, she's gonna drink. I mean, most likely. And if she doesn't, who cares? But
definitely,
it's something that comes with the territory. And yeah, I can go anywhere I want. But like when it's 10 o'clock and they start to move the tables away for people to start dancing, like
I'll kind of leave.
Because I got no reason to be there.
Yeah,
if it's somebody's wedding and I do want to dance, God forbid, I'll stick around. But you know, it's And it's really cool because when I first started, and for people who are listening to this and maybe you have an issue or something, when I first stopped, that was a huge concern of mine. I won't be any fun. I won't be able to go places.
Okay.
I won't, here I am. This is almost 11 years ago. I won't be able to have a glass of champagne at my wedding. Dude, 11 years later, ain't no wedding. You know what I mean? Like
we could change that, Pete. The day is a sliding dude. You can try something different.
But it's all those projections that we have that aren't real,
Right.
And
it's like your mind playing tricks on you.
And it keeps you drunk if you're an addict.
Absolutely. And that's almost like normalcy to you.
Yeah.
Right? Like just being drunk all the time and surrounding yourself with people. Do you think that has a big influence on your addiction and all that?
There's the thing like, getting sober, and I use the 12 steps.
Okay.
Right? It's a big part of my sobriety. I go to AA meetings, and there's a piece of our literature that says we sought out lower companions.
Okay.
In sordid places. And that was how I ended up. I was in places with people who I could say, oh, that guy's actually lower than me.
Oh,
that woman's lower than I am.
Okay.
So let me spend time with them so I kind of feel like I'm not that bad.
That's crazy.
So you hang out with unsavory characters, lower companions in sordid places.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and that was my story.
No, it's crazy that because I hate to keep bringing it up.
Bring up whatever you want.
Well, it's like beating a dead horse at this point, but I know when I was, when I saw it firsthand, that's what it looked like to me.
Yeah.
Was that I'm just going to hang out with all of these people because like I have more money than them, but we're all still doing the same thing.
This
like
is
we're
your
all,
friend.
Do you know what I mean? Like, does that make
100%,
sense?
dude.
Yeah. And it was crazy to me to see that. And I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. And then what happens is, this is for me, you end up getting kicked out of that friend group because you're so bad.
Right.
I mean, it's like the old story, and I know I'm older than you, but like Guns N' Roses was like an incredible band.
Okay.
And their drummer was a real addict. They were all addicts, heroin, whatever. But their drummer got kicked out of the band for drugs.
Okay.
You get kicked out of Guns N' Roses for using drugs, like that's pretty bad.
Okay, yeah.
Like so, and I got like kicked out of my friend group pretty much, and these guys were all partying and using, but I was that bad where people were like, you're just like, you kill the vibe.
Yeah.
We're worried about you.
Were you like fighting? Were you like very violent or
no,
like
never violent. I would just, I would get, if I didn't have speed to keep me up, I would just fall down drunk. Wow. I mean, one of my bottoms was I ended up at my buddy's house, and I was there with the girl I was dating at the time, and we were such a mess. He asked us to leave, and we left. Yeah, and then we went to back this car out from. He had this beautiful home, and the car ended up in a ditch, and we had to call a tow truck, and this was a party. It was just like
wow,
and that was a month before I got sober. But a lot of the times too, it wasn't always. I had jobs. I had good jobs, and. But at the end, I didn't have anything.
I got you. I mean, you've been in media for a long time.
Yeah.
Were you in media when you were using?
No, I for a little bit towards the end, I did some radio for the Charlotte Hornets, and
but isn't being like on a little side note, and this is kind of funny, isn't being on the radio drunk like the best thing ever?
Yeah, dude,
I mean, come on,
it is one of, and
it's lit. Like I did it a couple times.
And it's for lack of a better word, it's intoxicating.
Okay,
a lot of times, if you can go in a studio by yourself and have one other person there with you, you can go in drunk, you can keep it going.
Yeah,
you're on 100%, and that's another thing too. As an addict, you think like I have this superpower where I can go on the air, I can use drugs.
I see.
And then like
nobody can tell you nothing.
No.
Yes,
exactly.
I got you.
And then one time, I was working for the Hornets, and I've talked about this before. I was working a playoff game. I was on drugs, and I just wanted to leave. I mean, I didn't, but all I wanted to do was leave, and this was an experience that I should have been loving.
Okay.
I'm working my dream job. I'm in the media. But I'm like, all I want to do is chase that high.
Okay, got you. Yeah, it was just like, I need to get out because there's nothing here for me at the moment.
Exactly. Yeah, I need to chase. I need to go drink more or do more partying.
And listen, guys, I'm not an alcoholic, but I was very open about the fact that I did record that one commercial drunk that one time, and they aired it.
Oh, really?
Okay, I was a little tipsy. I was. It was. I shouldn't say which commercial.
In radio.
Let's not. Okay. Yeah. Those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
Well, okay. That's one of the things that for me was always attractive about radio, working in the media. There was a kind of a sexy lifestyle to it.
Okay.
Like you would work in the media, or for me, I worked in sports for pro sports teams.
Yeah.
And you would always party after the games, or you party with people in the media, and that's all a lie too.
Yeah, for sure.
Because if you're going to be successful, if you're really going to be a success, you're not closing up the bar. You have to wake up in the morning to do a morning show or afternoon drive. So you got to be with it. You know?
No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, there's definitely a sense of responsibility for sure. But I've definitely made some poor choices in my career. I've been drunk on this show. You know what I mean? Mike and I also know they've had to chop it up. When it comes to your addiction for the drinking and the drugs, what was like the first time for you that you used or drank and you were like, and it got out of hand?
Well,
was it like the first time you experimented with
No, the first time. I mean, look, dude, that was my first spiritual experience. Was the first time I drank. I was like, I can't. The first time I got drunk, I drank when I was a kid once, and just like because it looked like such an exciting thing to do. Everybody in my family did it. Yeah. But I drank once when the first time I drank in high school. And I could talk to girls. Yeah. I was always nervous to be around girls. I could talk to them. I had confidence that I had lacked. And so that was like, it was again, like I said, the same thing with cocaine, which came into the picture much later. I felt like I could do things that I wasn't able to do before without this stuff. Yeah, yeah. So it was a while. I think that's a great question. When did it start to get out of control? Was there one instance? I think in high school, the way I treated women wasn't great. I mean, it never was abusive, physically or verbally, but I was dismissive. I was, I looked at them as, whether it was like a trophy or like you use them as a drug, like they're exciting. It was all ego.
That's all men, Pete. Yeah, that's not a problem. That's all you men. That's that's all y'all do is use us.
There was a lot of ego stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
And I look back on that behavior now, and I'm embarrassed by it.
Okay, got you.
And it's not the way I am today. But so that's kind of like, I think it started to get out of control in high school with the way that I looked at women. And I think in college, I just started to get. This is when I knew. So I was in high school. Yeah, I was in high school, and I got a scholarship to play football in college.
Oh, cool.
But I was partying so much. My second semester in high school, senior year, I was taking I discovered pills, so I'm taking all these pills.
Okay, got you.
And I'm drinking all the time. And I went to play in this all-star game in the city of Philadelphia, and this guy was giving me a physical. You had to get a physical to play in this game. Okay. And he was like, something's wrong with your heart. It's beating funny. So I was like, oh, I'm fine. He's like, you got to go see a cardiologist. And the cardiologist was like, you have an enlarged heart. You have cardiomyopathy. He's like, you can't play football ever again, pretty much. And he's like, you could have gotten it one of two ways. You could have had a virus that went through your body and attacked your heart, or because basically your body gets so used to fighting this virus that the virus goes away and your body attacks your organs. So that's they call it viral cardiomyopathy. Or he said you could have gotten it through abusing drugs and alcohol. He's like, but you're pretty young. And I remember thinking like, oh my God, like I'm starting to damage my body. I can't play football. They kept me, I was lucky. They kept me on scholarship. I went to the University of Richmond, so I had to be affiliated with the team. But that was my first real consequence. And Andrew, they were like, how do you think you got it or whatever? And I was like, oh, it must have definitely been the virus.
Got you.
You know what I mean? And there's no way it could have been the addiction. And now I'll show you. I have a whatchamacallit, defibrillator right here. Oh, okay, really? I got it last year. I got it in July. And
that's
it's
the closest we've gotten to a man taking a shit off on the show, by the way.
I
only beg all the guests.
It's a legit like situation. And
now, were they dismissing? I mean, because you mentioned, okay, it could have been from the virus or it could have been from drugs and alcohol, but you're pretty young. Were they like automatically dismissing that?
They were kind of, but my mom was honest with the doctors because she'd been kind of on my case because she knew it in my dad and knew it was in my family. So they were like, you can't drink anymore. And I remember being like, oh man. And I remember thinking like, I can't do that. Yeah. Because I had, again, and I look so funny. I was getting ready. Some of the stuff I do college football for ESPN. Yeah, and I was preparing for a game, and sometimes I'll watch YouTube videos to prepare for a game of the team that I'm going to broadcast.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Somehow I came upon, and really it was by accident, I came upon like a Temple high school championship game in like 1990 something. So I was like, maybe I can find one of like my games.
Yeah, yeah.
So I found one, and I was watching myself, and I was playing. I was lazy. I wasn't giving up. Like, I was just like,
you weren't giving it your all. You're sluggish.
And I remember I used to drink a lot around those games. I would smoke weed the night before. If I couldn't take speed, I felt like I wasn't any good. Yeah. And I remember looking at myself, and that was like that was who I was at that point in time. Gotcha. And I remember thinking like, I was bummed watching that. This was just like a month or two ago, but I was thinking like, one, I'm never going to let that happen again.
Right.
And two, I put alcohol before everything. From as early as 18. Here I was this football player with a shot at really being something, and
definitely
I just wanted to drink and smoke weed and chase girls.
Do you think you wasted a lot of time? Do you have regrets?
Regret. Everything that I have done has got me here on this couch with you, which is awesome. And which is awesome. I'm chasing my dreams.
Right.
However, I regret that I hurt people. I hurt people.
Okay. You know what? That's a really good place for us to take a break, because that was my next question for you. Yeah. Okay, but we got to take a little break, okay? It's the commercial break. All right? Now, when we're going to get back, we're going to learn more about Pete Sousa and his drug addiction and alcohol addiction. We're going to learn more about his career in media and more. So make sure you guys stay tuned to this very exciting and informative episode of The Public Affair with Mr. Pete Sousa. We'll be right back. Hey, guys, I hope you're enjoying this really, really great episode of The Public Affair with the king, Mr. Pete Sousa, darling. Before we continue, I definitely want to use this opportunity to give a shout out to just a few more of our sponsors of this episode of The Public Affair. This episode is brought to us by my girl, Juliana Resendez with JR Renovations. She's a general contractor specializing in commercial businesses and residential homes. She's a true queen, darling, leveling the playing field in a male-dominated industry. And I'm going to say about Miss Juliana Resendez, she don't play them games. Don't be playing them games with her. Do not play them games with her. She's about her business, and I love it. I love me some Juliana Resendez. Follow her on Facebook and Instagram at JR Renovations, and call the number on the screen for your consultations. And my girl, Juliana, thank you so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Of course, to my boy and my girl, Julie and Ana Banda with Banda's Hauling Service. They rent dump trailers, you fill it up, and they haul it away. They also do junk removals and tree brush removals and haul cars in and out of town, darling. If you need a tow, they got you as well. Very affordable, very dependable. Love me some Banda's Hauling Service. You can book now with the number on the screen to Julian and Ana Banda. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring this episode of The Public Affair. Ooh, of course, to Embrace Fitness with my girl Lisette Luna and Amanda Switzer. They teach group fitness classes, darling, that are fun and dynamic. They specialize in total body workouts by Escalate and by Jackie and Zumba Step. Classes are Monday through Thursday at 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. You can also contact them to rent the building for parties and small events. My girl Lisette Luna and Amanda Switzer are snackish, and they want to make you look the same. Thank you so much for being a longtime sponsors of The Public Affair, girls. Truly appreciate you. Oh my goodness, of course, to Ali's Drive-In with Alexis Rivas and Diana Rivas, a convenience store located where the old Kobe's is in South Waco, 2105 Dutton Avenue. You can stop by for delicious snacks or a cold drink. Now, if you need beer for a party or for yourself, they have this huge selection with a wide selection of ice cold beer. Did I say selection? I meant freezer, darling. You can order from the kitchen too with a delicious selection of food to satisfy your appetite, or to go with that cold beer every Friday. They have Enchilada Friday, homemade enchiladas. It's called Ali's Drive-In, 2105 Dutton. It's right up the street. Go check them out when you get out of here. Yeah, sure. It's like a convenience store, and they have like homemade food and everything. It's delicious. Absolutely. Tell them I sent you.
Okay, yeah.
Tell them Energy sent you. You can stop by this monumental convenience spot in South Waco today to Ali's Drive-In. Thank you so much for being longtime sponsors of The Public Affair. Of course, to my girl Nancy Pulsini with Parkway National Insurance. She provides insurance for all commercial trucks and tractor trailers, and she also provides insurance for all contractors along with home and basically all your insurance inquiries. You gotta hit up my girl Nancy Pulsini. She's out there giving out LLCs too, all right? Call the number on the screen for all your insurance inquiries. Y habla español también, to my girl Nancy Pulsini. Thank you for being a longtime sponsor of The Public Affair, girl. I truly appreciate you. And of course, to Elite Barbershop with my boy Sid Rodriguez, located on Hewitt Drive, making me look super snackish for more than 120 episodes of The Public Affair. You can call the number on the screen to book, or download the Squire app, darling. Walk-ins are welcome as well. He also has Marcus Guerrero, Chris Reyes, Santos Cordova, David Rodriguez, Isaac Chavez, Clint Fletcher, and Isai over there, making you look just as snackish as me. Elite Barbershop is going to hook you up. Thank you for being the longest running sponsor of The Public Affair, bro. I truly, truly appreciate all your support. All right, guys, we are going to get right back into it with Mr. Pete Sousa, news anchor at KWTX Channel 10, sports commentator, and the host of Payoff with Pete. He's talking to us about his drug addiction, alcohol abuse, and more. Here we go.
Man.
I know.
I told you should have brought a bottle of wine.
I should have bought a bottle of wine, but
that is so. This guy is running 100 miles per hour.
Listen, Pete,
that's hard work.
I drink enough wine on this show. Okay. I think for you to talk about being sober and stuff, I was like, I could put the wine away for a little bit. Even though I will say, Pete did say that I could bring the wine. He did.
Yeah, well, and we were talking about earlier. Yeah, there's no place I can't go as long as I have a purpose to be there.
That's it.
Like, my purpose is being here with me.
Oh, sweet. I love it. Okay. Yes, perfect. All right. You know what? Right before the break, we were getting really into your drug addiction and all that.
You picked back up there. Good job.
Yeah, you see. Okay, listen, I know what's going on here. Yeah. Pete, listen, I'm a professional, darling. I know you've been doing this for 50 more years than I have. All right, but I do this. No, you know what? You mentioned that in the midst of your addiction, that you were really hurting people.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the biggest things that a lot of addicts don't realize how it's affecting the people around them.
You don't realize
how it affects us. Because again, I was involved in that.
Yeah.
And so it's a hard thing to watch somebody that you love and care for go through. What were you doing to hurt these people? Can you indulge us a little bit, please?
Lying was like a whole language unto itself.
Oh, yeah.
And that was something I did all the time. I'm not even going to say I was good at it, but it was anything I could to just keep people off my back, or because it wasn't so much as like I was betraying these people for another person. It was I was betraying them for this thing. And I think it's a shame because like you have felt, you know, you gaslight people, you know, as an addict who's in active addiction, you can make them, I mean, there's such a dedication to that. You can make other normal people think that they're insane.
I got you.
And there's just a lot of that. And, you know, there are a lot of letting people down. You know, somebody gives you an opportunity.
Yes.
And you blow it.
Yeah.
And because here's the deal. I mean, I could clean it up for 5-10 minutes or 5 weeks or 5 months. But eventually, when you're dealing with the beast that is addiction, it is coming for you.
Yeah.
It's going to show up. Maybe not right away.
Okay.
But it is going to show up. That's how my experience was.
How do you feel about people who try to recover cold turkey?
I mean, look.
Do you think that that's effective?
I know how I did it.
Okay.
And that's one thing about my podcast is like I try to have people of all walks of recovery come on. I mean, I had this one girl on recently. Her name's Gentry. She's like the social media superstar.
Okay.
She's sober 4 years, right? But 2 years ago, she had a slip and she drank. Now, in her mind, she says, I don't call it a relapse. I call it a lapse because there's so much connected to the shame of drinking again. And I mean, the girl's 4 years sober, and you can tell she's got the sunlight of the spirit going through her soul. Okay. Is that my story?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But it's hers. So, and like, that's how she does it. So whatever works for you, I know what works for me.
If I'm hearing you correctly, you keep referring to yourself as an active addict.
Well, I was an active.
You were an active. Okay, I was like, what does that mean? Because I mean, you didn't snort no lines before he got in here. No, that's for sure.
When I was in active addiction, so I'm an addict right now, but I'm sober, right? Like,
explain. Yeah, that's what I'm like. I have questions. Okay.
Yeah. So the reality is, I'm always, you know, people can slice and dice it however they want, but in my experience, again, I have that alcoholic gene, right? I have that alcoholic mind.
Okay.
And I have to respect that and know that it's there, because the moment I start telling myself I'm not an alcoholic and I'm not an addict is the moment I think, Andrew G is having me on his show. We're going to have a glass of wine. Why can't I have a glass of wine? I haven't drank in 10 years.
Okay.
Things are going good.
Okay.
Let me just have, and then the next thing you know, and maybe that night, you know, I don't end up in jail, and maybe that night I don't do something terrible, but it's like I talked about, that monster, right? It's coming for me at some point, because I know, I mean, look, dude, I worked real hard to try to keep drinking and using drugs. Yeah. It wasn't happening. I mean, I tried everything. You tried yoga. I ran all the time throughout my addiction. I love to work out. There were a million things I tried. I saw a therapist, you know. Nothing has taken the place of just total sobriety and working in a program. Got you. Yeah, and living free.
So are you still in these programs now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I went to an AA meeting yesterday.
Oh, wow, really? Okay, yeah, that's what I was gonna ask. Yeah. So even though you're not drinking and it's been 10 years since your last drink.
Yeah, I still got the mind. Dude.
Okay.
Yeah, the monkey's off my back, but the circus is still
that is
in
so
town,
crazy.
That's what I say. Dude, because think about it. Just like you, I'm insecure about things. I have stress. Yes. I have moments where I want to lose my mind. And so I have a group of people who I can go check in with every day and tell them, because all the emotions that I have today, I used to pour alcohol and drugs on. So I basically didn't even have them. Okay. It was like Arrested Development. I mean, when I got sober, I was kind of like a 14-year-old kid emotionally. For sure. Yeah. So now I'm what? Like, you know, it's like 24. I'm still like, I'm still a JV over here.
Dude,
but
that's so wild. Okay. Yeah. I've never heard anybody say that. Though.
And
that's
also a big part of it is too, I go to meetings and I have a little bit of time. I owe it again to the people coming for the kid that's in there with one day. Yeah. And can't even see straight. Yeah. I am responsible to be there to share my story, or just to be there and talk to him after the meeting and to let him know that dude, you never have to feel like this again.
For sure. Yeah.
That's what you can tell somebody that's at a meeting and is like has one day sober. You never have to feel that way again if you just one day at a time. I mean, the one day at a time shit is so cliche, but it's true.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Oh shit. You know what, Pete? What were your triggers?
Well, I mean, when I was drinking and using, it was a lot of time. Honestly, okay, a big thing was, if I'm being honest, which I've been the whole time. Women, relationships.
Really? I told you it was the women. I told you guys.
Well, it wasn't necessarily their fault.
Yes.
But I never allowed myself to mature as a person or just experience life on life's terms, right? Like, so the moment I drank and I realized, okay, I can drink and talk to a girl, why wouldn't I do that forever? So if I had to talk to a girl, or go on a date with a girl, or be involved sexually with the girl, I was like, I need to have this extra superpower.
Okay.
So women were a huge trigger for me. If I were to date like a woman who I saw as like beautiful, in my mind, I felt like I'm not good enough for her.
Yeah.
So I would drink and take enough stuff to make me feel like I was. Yeah.
I gotta get personal with you.
Yeah.
You're single now?
Yeah.
Is that because of that? Or?
No, I was actually just living with a wonderful woman, and she lived in Dallas, and we were doing this commute, and it was exhausting for both of us.
Okay.
So we kind of backed away, but no, I now I can. That's another thing I want to say.
Yeah.
I've dated girls who drank. We dated girls who drank a lot.
Right.
None at all, and I don't have that problem anymore.
Okay.
Like, I don't, and that's the thing, like, I tell young guys that come in, I can remember when I was like a year sober, scrolling through my phone and being like, dude, I don't have one. I'm a year sober now.
Yeah.
I'm not texting with one girl romantically.
Okay.
And it's not like that anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, that was all bullshit. I would tell myself, I'm never going to meet a girl. Dude, Andrew, a big thing is like, I'm never going to how can I have sex sober? Well, it's a blast. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know that.
Yeah, but there's nothing like that red wine sex either, though, Pete. There's nothing like that red wine slutty drunk sex.
Yeah. I mean, but that's I respect
sober
that.
sex is fun too. Yeah, anytime I had that surprise a couple weeks ago. It was nice.
You, it is.
Yeah,
because it's beyond my wildest dreams. Yes. Because I never experienced it, and I never had the confidence to. I still sometimes don't know what the hell I'm doing, right? But I never had the confidence to navigate that, and now I do.
You met the right person. I'll give you tips. I got all the tips for you, Pete. Okay. Wow, no, that's so crazy to think. So even all that was dependent on the drinking and all of it. Okay.
So that's another thing that's a complete like a complete lie you tell yourself. It's
yes.
Like, all that is connected to this thing that I have, and if I take this thing away, there will be none of that.
Yeah, I don't want you to see any of the jokes that I made about cocaine and asses in the show. Don't go back. You ever seen The Wolf of Wall Street?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't listen. I think drugs are horrible.
Yeah,
but that was kind of hot.
Oh, I think it was hot. Dude.
It was kind of hot, right? It was.
Of course it was.
You see how real Pete's keeping it?
Yeah,
I mean, that's
all that stuff is still. Sorry, that's still.
Like, not going to it's Android TV. It turned off twice, like in the last few episodes, right?
Yeah, dude. I think that stuff's like seductive. And,
yeah. Okay, got you. So with all that being said and everything, though, I mean, I wanted to talk to you about. So you've been sober for 11 years.
11 years in November
for drinking and drugs. Is that correct?
100%.
Okay. In November coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So over a decade. Okay. Can we just discuss relapses a little bit, please? Because you talked about your guest Gentry is her name, correct?
Gentry, yeah.
Gentry, excuse me, and that she called it a lapse because she only drank that one time. Yeah. Have you relapsed at all in the last 11?
No, not in the last 11 years. But there was a time when I couldn't shake this thing. Like, I would stop drinking for a month, and then I would, convince myself that like I needed to for whatever reason.
Okay, gotcha.
Whether it was to be a part of with my boys watching video games. Oh, they're smoking weed. Well, I can smoke weed. And then eventually it led back to drinking.
See how people do that. Like, I need to be concentrating. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, people do. I mean, like, but and that's the thing. Like, I told myself I could do it.
Yeah.
And so every time I drank again, I would end up at this like, you know, just I would end up bankrupt, like you know, fiscally, like, and also, but most importantly, emotionally.
Yeah, for sure.
And yeah, but I see guys, dude, and that's one of the reasons I go to meetings because you know, there's a guy who once I've seen guys, Andrew, with like 20 years, okay, and then they'll get away from whatever was keeping them sober,
okay,
and they'll say I can have one, and then the next thing you know, 6 months later or 6 weeks later, they're drunk in front of their kids and their wife, and they're having guys pick them up, take them to rehab, and the saddest part about that is, they struggle so hard to get back to that place of sobriety.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I know that I have another drunk in me, dude.
Okay.
But I don't know that I have another like sobriety in me. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
okay.
It's
like if you relapse again.
Yeah,
this is it.
I can't even imagine what that would be like, like getting back and yeah. So it's like, and that's why it's cool to just talk with you about it and kind of reconnect to the person I used to be. And realize like I don't ever want to be like
for
that.
sure.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I got you. Wow.
The relapse is real, dude. And
no,
honestly,
absolutely,
it's part of the process too. Like it was part of my process. Like if somebody relapses, you know, just come back or go back. I mean, you know, again, it's like you never have to feel that way again.
Yeah.
A lot of people, dude, I know people that have gone to like 30 rehabs and now they're sober like 10 years.
You did rehab as well?
I did, and that was what worked for me. I needed like...
Was it? Okay. Well, because, you know, like a lot of times, like in the media, like in movies and TV shows and stuff like that, sometimes they'll portray rehab as like just, oh God, you're here again. You know what I mean?
I mean, no, I went to this place called Karen in Pennsylvania, and I was very lucky. I had like family, not family, a good friend of mine.
Yeah, for sure.
Whose family was kind of dialed in over there. And I remember, this is like the drug addict in me.
Yeah.
I remember him saying, when you go and you get there, they'll give you something like a Valium to even you out, so you won't like, because if somebody's drinking every day and you take alcohol away from them, they could seize up. Or
and you have like withdrawals, right? Your hands start shaking and stuff. Yeah.
When I heard that I would get Valium in rehab, I was like, yeah, okay. You know, it was another one of those things, and that's what they say too. Whatever gets you there, like if you've got somebody you're trying to get sober, and they won't get in the car to go to the rehab without like a bottle of Jack Daniels or a bottle of wine, just let them drink the wine while you get them there.
I mean, yeah, you might as well, right? Like, honestly, you're going there to get better. Like,
my last day, I was completely wasted. Yeah.
Were you really?
Oh yeah. My parents took me to rehab. I showed up, and my mom was like embarrassed. You know, my mom, God bless her, she wanted to have the house cleaned before the woman who was helping clean would show up. Like, you know, Maud or whoever, her name wasn't Maud, it was Ruby's coming over.
Yeah.
Make sure everything's clean. To be like, dude, the cleaning lady's coming
Ruby's
over.
Cleaning,
Who cares? Same thing with me. She's like, you're going to rehab. I'm like, yeah, exactly. Like, let me get wasted.
That's actually cute that you say that. Just a little side note. You know, one time I had the cleaning, one of my friends actually was cleaning my apartment, and I left the porn on my TV. I was so embarrassed. But she didn't turn the TV on, thank God. She didn't, okay. She didn't turn the TV on. I was... You know, right before that, Pete, you know, I was getting my fix, which is down there. So
you're a human being, dude.
You know,
welcome to the human race.
That's it. You know, we're all disgusting, but no, okay. So the rehab work for you. So you know, and then also just a little personal too. Did you learn how to have sober sex? Like, are you good now? Okay.
But I was like terrified the first time.
It's crazy that I've never thought of sex being a thing where you have to either be drunk or, you know what I mean?
Like, that's why you can enjoy red wine and shit and whatever. I can remember the first time I made out with a girl when I was sober. I literally was like, I'm going to kiss you now. She was like, okay, dude.
I mean,
like I was so nervous.
That's it. Like,
I was so nervous. I thought I was going to like pass out.
How old, can I just ask, please?
Yeah.
Okay. How old were you when you had sober sex the first time?
Oh, I was 34. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you're a virgin. Like,
yeah.
What is going on?
I was 34, and honestly, like the girl was incredible girl.
Yeah.
It didn't last, but like to this day, I like think so fondly of her. Like I almost look at it as like, wow, what an opportunity I was provided. Yeah, because I know I had to work it out with her a little bit. I was not, prime timing.
Okay, but now we're good. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I like to think so.
Not prime timing. That's so cute.
Yeah.
No, listen, I've had both. Like I told you that. You know what I mean? I don't depend on my red wine. I'm just saying the red wine influence.
Oh, look.
You know, I had Clarissa Ramos on this show.
Yeah.
She's happily in a relationship.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, it'll have you and your husband's DMs, and I was definitely in DMs. Anyway, okay.
So, one last thing I'll say is
sure, please.
I like when I'm dating a girl.
Okay.
If she drinks, and this is like maybe like a fault of mine. Mm-hmm. I love if she's drinking for whatever reason because I see a girl that's not an addict. But I see like, there's a little like, there's fun. Like there's like she'll start to have fun and like, there's a different vibe it brings, which is always
that's so
kind
interesting.
of. I have no objection to
like
that.
It's sexy to you, like it's
to a degree, sure.
It's like like an eternal thing for you. Okay,
yeah, and then
that's cool. Yeah, I can't stand when somebody.
You got me talking about sex.
I love talking about sex, especially with some tall man.
Not the morning news.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Please don't. But no, yeah, but a big turn off from BP. I can't stand when people are smoking. Like that's not sexually attractive to me.
Yeah.
when I actually left somebody's house. We're gonna continue. I actually left somebody's house because it smelled like weed.
Yeah,
and I felt
if somebody's smoking weed,
that's a turnoff for me.
Really,
like, you can go smoke weed, that's fine. But can
what
you
if they
not
come
do
in
it?
smelling like?
I'm like turned off.
Really?
I don't even want to do it. No, because you're gonna taste like weed. Like Pete, I'm a very submissive person. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I know it's getting out hand here, but I'm a very like pleasing person, and so I don't want it. I just don't smoke. I don't smoke. I don't smoke. I don't even smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
So I don't I'm just not gonna do
cigarettes?
No.
Never.
I've never smoked cigarettes. I've never smoked weed, never done drugs. I do like to drink sometimes.
Yeah.
I cut back a lot with my weight loss. You know what I mean?
You look great.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Peace.
How much weight did you lose?
Over 65, 70 pounds, something like that.
How did you do it?
Working out, proper diet, and exercise. Shout out Soccer Academy. Shout out Montezuma Boxing. Shout out my boy Joe Luna. He trained me a little bit when I was at training. Yeah. Joe Luna trained me because I broke my foot in the beginning of the year, and all my upper body is lit right now. Proper diet and exercise. So okay, well, Pete, all the drugs and all that, it's really great, and congratulations to you for being 11 years sober. And just real quick before we move on, and we do have to wrap up soon. What was the hardest drug you've ever used?
Good question. I snorted heroin.
You can do that? Is that a thing? Okay.
I was in another city. I was in Detroit, and I wanted to just get regular drugs.
Yeah.
I was in this cab, and I was like, "Hey, I'm trying to score some cocaine." He was like, "I don't have that, but I have this."
Oh.
And he's like, it was like, it was heroin, and so he was like, "You can snort it," and it was $40. And this is like just like how much of an addict I was.
I got you.
I went back to where I was staying, I snorted it, and I immediately called the guy back, and I was like, "You need to come back here and give me more of this, because this is like so."
Okay.
Yeah. But I never did it again after that.
That was it. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm probably lack of opportunity.
Did you ever worry about it killing you?
Yeah. There were times when I was like, because and this shows like a window into the alcoholic and the addict. I had a heart problem.
Yes.
And I was pumping my body full of speed and to get up, and sedatives to come down, and drinking. If life was fair, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
And that's why I try to approach the day with gratitude, try to help other people, and just try to be, packing stuff into the stream of life.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's not what's up, but I hear you there. Okay. Wow, Pete. Okay. Goodness gracious. Well, thank you so much for indulging with us. I always enjoy talking to people about their addictions and stuff, because it's a real thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a sad thing to watch somebody go through, but if Pete can do it, guys, you guys can do it
Everything
too.
I am today
is
based on the fact that I got sober.
Okay.
And I'm able to, for the most part, people in my life would say, I'm dependable.
That's it.
I show up. I have a good attitude, and I like to think that I really am enjoying life.
Yes, and what I really like about too is that I can, if I ever meet Pete out, I can have my glass of red wine.
Absolutely.
That's my thing. I don't do beer. I like red wine. Anyway, so you know what, Pete? Goodness gracious! Before we wrap up, I do want to talk to you about your career.
Sure.
So much like please, you've been in media for how long?
As long as I've been sober. I was sitting.
Okay.
I mean, I told you I had like I flirted with radio for a little while.
Yeah. Okay, got you.
I was in, and this is like about chasing your dreams, and like I was sitting in rehab, and I was like, what do I want to do? And I was like, I want to get into I want to get into sports broadcasting.
Okay.
And everything just came together. I started to, when I got sober and was working a program, I was filled with this confidence, and I started to do esteemable things. So I got self-esteem. So I leaned back on old relationships. I got into sports broadcasting, and then I got into TV news.
Okay.
And then I saw that I was halfway decent at it.
Yeah, for sure.
but honestly, like when I was, one thing we skipped over, and I'll say this quick. When I was living in I got sober in a rehab, and then I'd already worked in the NBA at this point, and they were like, I got to the halfway house, and they were like, you got to get a job. And I was like, well, I don't want to get a job. And they were like, you have to, or you won't be able to be a part of this program anymore.
Okay.
So I was like, okay. And I ended up working at a Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Oh, wow.
When I was in this halfway house. And I say that to say, like, that was a humbling job.
Okay, gotcha.
And to show up and to think that your shit doesn't stink, but you don't know how to work the register. So you got to learn this.
Well, because you were just working for the NBA and you were doing all these. Yeah, now you got to go, I want the 10-piece. Like, you know,
I don't know how to put that in the register, so let me get Sharik over here and let me work it. Yeah, so that was humbling, and I learned how to learn. Okay. And so I've learned how to deal with failure. I learned how to deal with failure in sobriety. So it ain't all been unicorns and rainbows. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's been failure, there's been rejection in my career, in my personal life, but that has helped me deal with it. Yeah. That experience is always something I lean on. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't great at doing the news when I started. Right. I've gotten, people would say, tremendously better, a lot better, not tremendous, but a lot better. And
what time do we see you on the news in the mornings?
We're 4:30 to 7. I'm on with Keisha Lopez and Sean Bellafiore. Yeah. Literally, I have to, when I mention them, I just have to say that I love them because they put up with me. Keisha's my girl. She sits right next to me every day, and I know I drive her nuts because I'm just kind of crazy, and she deals with me.
Can I just give a shout out to my good friend real quick, Justin Early?
Justin
I love
Early.
Me some Justin.
Justin Early. Hey, by the way, that was a wink if you're just listening to audio.
Justin's on that night, right?
Yeah,
like,
Justin is
later. Yeah,
he is the straw that stirs the drink.
I had to do it.
Yeah, he's on. Justin's on. He's on at 5. Okay. He's on at 4 o'clock. He's like kind of the face of our new 4 o'clock show. And he's on at 5. And Justin is the sweetest, coolest guy.
Love that guy.
And he's very, very good at his job.
Yes, absolutely. Love that guy so much. We've been hanging out a little bit, or we were. Now we're busy.
So, we gotta get back to that.
Yeah, no, for sure. What's up, Justin? Anyway, okay. So yeah, then real quick. So you dabbled in radio a little bit.
I dabbled in radio, and then
wasn't your thing. What's going on with that?
Honestly, that's why I love the podcast because it kind of flexes that muscle. I love a long form interview. Just sitting here doing this, and I've noticed I have a genuine interest in people. So if I'm doing a sports broadcast, like a couple weeks ago, I was doing an Oklahoma State game, and the game sucked. It was a blowout. It was an awesome atmosphere and incredible opportunity for me. But the final score is like 55-10. Okay, gotcha. So when you have a game that escapes you like that, you know, I'm working with this guy, Chad Brown, who played in the NFL forever, and I can talk to him about. I'm so interested in his career, which can kind of help navigate the broadcast. And I was thinking, I was doing that with him. I was like, wow, this is like I'm pretty comfortable doing this, connecting with him, and I was thinking, it all goes back to stuff like this. Yeah, and me doing my show like that. I think that I've developed that skill. I think that's where it's at. Yeah, definitely. I love what you do, what I do. Yeah, sitting down with people, getting to know them. Dude, let's get beneath the BS. Yeah. What makes you tick? What do you like?
That's what I like. Yes, I like to know all the dirt stuff. That's why we got into sex earlier.
Yeah. So that is one of my sweet spots. Doing the podcast, interviewing people. So I love radio. Yeah. And I also love TV. TV too. I love doing the morning news.
I don't know if I could ever do I would love to be a news anchor or something, but I don't know if I could do sports commentating. I'd be over there flirting.
Well, I mean,
you'd be like, "Where's Andrew over there with the 49er? He's with number 69."
we used to have to be careful, and I never had all the women I've worked with in pro sports were like on the up and up, but like they were more, you know. You would have to like worry about that. Like, are these women here? What are their morals? Do they want to meet athletes and date them? Or
that's me. Yeah. I don't have no morals. I don't know. I don't care what the game was. Let me go to your locker room with you real quick. Yeah. You know, if you didn't know, I started here. My podcast before podcast, I did radio for a long time. Yeah, and it was just like a dying breed to me. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Well, here's the thing. I listen to Howard Stern still. I love him. And he does a great job, Andrew. He talks about radio days and meter clicks and just how everything was about, how hard he worked to come up with bits and just to move the dial.
It's changed so much. Isn't it crazy how much it's changed
talks about
in the years? Oof.
He's older and he's changed a ton, but he talks about, you know, everybody has a podcast now. He talks about, and honestly, that's why you're a talent, because when you start out and you mention off all those sponsors you have, that's what Howard talks about, like, is lacking. But like you, because literally, what can you do to keep people captivated? You know what I mean? And to have them come back and listen to you. And that's sort of a lost art now in the long form podcast, but it's something that you do, I'm trying to do. And that's what you talk about, being a dying breed. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because if you're going to be a successful radio DJ, you've got to drive ratings. Like that's it. If you don't rate, or you like you're going to hear about it.
I think in just my personal experience, it didn't become about driving ratings and being a personality anymore. Everything was about business.
Yes.
Everything was about selling commercials. They weren't like pushing personalities.
Yeah.
Like when we were growing up, I wanted to listen to so-and-so on the radio.
Yeah.
I wanted to see so-and-so at
Joe
the
Mama
restaurant.
in
you
Philadelphia.
know, whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it just wasn't about that
Yeah.
anymore. And me and Chrissy, I love Chrissy,
Yeah.
Power 108 Chrissy. And we had a big talk about it right before I left. Or
What
whatever
was
you
the
want
talk
to
like?
call it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was, she just said, personalities is just not a thing anymore, Andrew.
Yeah.
Like it's just like all of us that this is it. You know what I mean?
It's happening in TV news too.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's just you notice it's just more of a monster, more of economics driven.
Yeah,
more of
it kind of takes the fun out of it. Like,
yeah, that's why I try to
Yeah.
That's why and I'm not just saying this. That's why I love the people at KWTX. They let me be myself. I'm a nut.
Okay.
And they really allow me to be myself. And I know that I wouldn't get that in many other places.
For sure.
But I see like just the industry paying people less, asking them to work more, less experience.
Oh.
You see people on the air now,
Yes.
and you hear them on the air, and you're kind of like, this person like go to school for this, or like, do they have any training?
Yeah. Well, it's just important to know too. We weren't getting paid shit in radio. I wasn't getting paid a damn thing in radio. I was there for almost 7 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a labor of love.
It's more, just that. It's a commodity being a fucking radio. Anyway, okay. So Pete, God, unfortunately, we do have to wrap up. I wish we could stay here for like 3 more hours because there's so many more questions. But real quick, we can catch you on the morning news. Yeah. You're doing sports commentating for ESPN.
Yeah.
Okay,
so I'll do some college football, some college basketball. I'll end up doing I do the podcast.
Yes. The Payoff with Pete. We can catch you on Spotify where you can get podcasts.
And that's why Rogue is so awesome. I can just tell people all the platforms.
That's it.
And it's great being a part of this family with you. It's great knowing that like there's this is a talent-rich environment, and I really appreciate you like inviting me to come.
Listen, it is an honor having you on the show. Somebody who's a veteran that's been through it. Quick before we leave, I know I keep saying that. Quick before we leave, did your addiction almost cost you like your job? Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah. I mean, like there was no more jobs by the time I got sober.
Not even KFC. You can.
Well, KFC was when I got sober. That's
yeah. Okay.
So you get sober and you get one of those like kind of like back to work jobs.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, look, I put alcohol and drugs before everything.
Okay.
And now my life, we're talking about it, is full.
Yeah.
And so if anybody's listening to this and they're like, I can't stop, I don't know what to do, like there's always hope. And honestly, I always say like, I'm not hard to find. Just DM me. We can talk. Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean DM him gays, okay? He didn't mean it like that. He doesn't have Snapchat. Snapchat's the side piece app.
I got Snapchat.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Can you add me? Add me on Snap. I'm going to add you on Snapchat so I can tag you on the snaps.
Yeah.
And if the gays slide in your DMs, just tell them, hey, guys.
Look, well, maybe the gays are having problems with drugs or alcohol.
Well, no, they're not going to hit you up for that. I had Mauro Maldonado on this show, episode 49. He called him Silly Buns. Yeah. He said that all the gays were in his trying to message him. Okay. Yeah, it was.
I don't know the names, but you've had some attractive women on here. I'm like,
yeah. I think all my guests are kind of hot, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Have I slept with any of them? I don't know. I'm kidding. Yeah. Okay. What's next for you? I mean, so you don't have kids, right?
I don't have kids.
Like
I was thinking about this today. I mean, like we can even just go deeper. Like I love being single, and I love being able to do what I can do. And there's in my mind, there's a freedom to that, and like with work especially, that was one of the things that happened in my last relationship. I work weekends. I do college football. After I'm here in the morning, I get on a plane on weekends. And go somewhere, almost every weekend. So it's tough to find a woman or anybody who's gonna be like, okay, that's great.
I'm glad that you said that.
Yeah, but so work is kind of first for me now.
For sure.
But I was thinking today, at times I get lonely, and like if something comes into my life, I'm certainly not going to turn it away.
Okay. So are you still open to having kids and getting married and all that? Or?
I mean,
you're not that old, right?
What do you like? Is ticking.
No, what are you like, 30? Get out of here.
Come on, get out of here. I'm in my 40s.
He's still young, please. Pete, I've screwed guys a lot older than you, please. Okay? A lot older than you.
If that happened, if that were to come
and if we're trying to have a baby right now.
If that were to happen. It will be great, but like I also do. I'm a realist, you know what I mean? I would love to have kids, but if it's not in the cards, it's not in the cards. And honestly, I look at like the stuff that we do now, and like thanks to guys like Corey and Mike, these podcasts and Allison will live forever.
Yeah,
and I'm out there trying to help people. So if those can be, you know, a legacy of mine, then that's great.
But keep it going too. Get you a nice little side piece.
I'm working on it.
I can help you with that. I'm the side piece king, whatever.
I'm
it's the whole life or no life. Okay. I'm just like you. I'm just a younger version of you without. Yes, I'm just.
So now you're saying I'm the whole life.
Well, there's nothing wrong with being slutty, Pete. You're very attractive, tall man. No, he's not. He's not, but we're going to return him slutty. With that being said, Pete, thank you so much for coming on. What can we expect next from you?
You know, just hopefully I continue to grow with the podcast and with doing sports play-by-play, and I'll see you in the morning at 4:30. That's always hard for me.
Okay.
I would like. I'm trying to work on getting later in the day.
Okay.
Because I've been waking up at 2:45 for 7 years. That's a long time.
I'm like that. I want to be at work at 4 a.m. Get it over with.
Yeah. Okay. Get it over with.
That's it. Yeah. Well, Pete, it was an honor having you on the show. Finally, we finally made it happen. I'm really grateful that you came on. A seasoned vet in media. Like, again, having media personalities like yourself that are seasoned means a lot to me. You know what I mean? It's a little bit of a different direction. No, we still were slutty. No, we're good. Yeah, we were slutty. It's all good. Pete, it was an honor. Thank you so much. To everybody who tuned in, thank you guys again so much for watching this episode of The Public Affair. Don't forget to catch Pete on the news, Channel 10, ESPN Sports, college football. I know you guys like to watch the college football. And then, of course, the Payoff with Pete podcast, anywhere you can get some podcasts. You guys check him out. All about sobriety. If you guys want to hit him up for any advice, not sliding in his DMs, advice about becoming sober, hit him up, just DM him at Pete Sousa. Yeah. That's it. All right. Yeah. Pete, it was an honor. Everybody, before we continue, I definitely want to encourage you to like, share, and subscribe. And I want to give a shout out to just a few more of our sponsors of this episode of The Public Affair. You love that? Okay. I know. It's awesome. He like smiles on the side when I'm doing my reads. Yeah. I love it. It's hot. All right, here we go. Of course, I want to give a shout out to Soka Soccer Academy, my boy Dominic Gutierrez and Ariana Gutierrez, located at 3304 Franklin Avenue. They offer team, small group, and individual skills training. They also have elite skills training to make your kid a superb star athlete, and awesome after school programs and holiday camps, if you will. Open plays on Mondays and Wednesdays for ages 16 and older at 8:30 p.m. with Morrow. Only $5 to play. I call them the silly buns. Okay. Follow on Facebook at Soko Soccer Academy and on Instagram at Soko Soccer 254. To Dominic and Ariana, thank you so much for being longtime sponsors of The Public Affair. Of course, to Edward Barragan with Montezuma Boxing. It's a boxing gym dedicated to train you.
Can you say that one more time?
Edward Barragan? I'm sure it's just Barragan. Was that hot? Was that hot? It was hot. Right?
Put a little sauce on it.
I'm flirting. Stop. With Montezuma Boxing, it's a boxing gym dedicated to train you to be a superb boxer, and of course, to get into shape. He offers walk-in workout classes at 5:30 a.m. and 7:30 p.m. And of course, you can sign up for boxing classes to improve that hand-to-eye coordination and overall better physical condition. The core is going to look super lit. You know, Edward, he's kind of hot. I'm not gonna lie.
You're walking advertisement.
That's it. You know what I mean? Montezuma Boxing is training champions, darling. You can call the number on the screen to follow or follow on Facebook. Thank you, Montezuma Boxing, for being a sponsor of The Public Affair. Of course, the Pelon Villa and Yasmin Landeros with Vias Transportation LLC. They provide power-only services locally and over the road at an affordable rate, darling. They also move freight in a dry van, such as box items, pallet materials, most retail dry goods, and more. And now they're providing hot shot services. The people are always out of town. I love Pelon Villa. I love Yasmin Landeros. They were guests on this show. They're independently owned. Call on today with the number on the screen to VS Transportation LLC. Thank you so much for being a longtime sponsor of The Public Affair. Of course, the Sonia's Event Planning and Rentals with Sonia Childers. She's an event planner that specializes in wedding, quinceañeras, baby showers, corporate events, and more. Now, she's appointments only. You know, she'd be booked and busy, but you could take the stress of planning your event off your shoulders by reaching out to her for a consultation at shoulders1994@yahoo.com, or just call the number on the screen. She's got you. Sonia, thank you so much for being a longtime sponsor of The Public Affair, girl. I truly appreciate you, and congratulations to Aria. She's out there doing it.
Oh, yeah.
All her stuff is beautiful. She's out there doing it. Of course, my boy Jeffrey Monreal with Pollo Box and Audio, home for all your LED needs and auto accessories, installation of stereos, door speakers, and audio systems. He also specializes in building custom subwoofer enclosures and much more. Definitely a jack of all trade and your one-stop shop to get everything done in one roof. Jeffrey just put the stars in my car. He put the stars in my car. Whoa. But now I have to turn them off when I'm doing other things in my car. Yeah, but it's gorgeous. He put the dark tin, everything. Oh, he's pimped my ride. Jeffrey Monreal, thank you so much for all you do for me in The Public Affair, bro. And of course, oh, you can, okay, no, he can make you a michelada, virgin michelada. He does it with club soda. I'm going to get you one, okay? Fat Boy Michelada Botano, my boy Junior Banda, who provides the best michelada Botana plates for yourself or for a party with a menu of tons of different items, including Botana bowls, chamois, pickles, and more. He's locally operated. So make sure you get the best and not the rest. Follow on Facebook and Instagram at Fat Boy Michelada Botana. Place your order now. To my boy Junior Banda, thank you so much for being a longtime sponsor of The Public Affair. Of course, to everybody who tuned in, I truly appreciate you guys. I've got more of The Public Affair coming on coming up on the way. I kept slurring my words. I'm not drunk, I promise. And don't forget, darling, I don't have my wine. To always keep it between us.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast.